In Arizona, we've talked about 70% of homeowners owe more than their house is worth. What are the options that they have?
Well,
Yeah, it kind of depends on their situation. I mean, if they can afford to continue to pay for the house, they have the option of continuing to own the home and stay in the home and continue to make their payments. Their next option would be potentially a loan modification. If they can qualify for that, that's something they could do.
yeah, assuming that they couldn't afford to make the payment, or that a more reasonable payment would meet their long-term financial goals.
Their next option would be to try to do a short sale, basically to present an offer for purchase of the home to the bank, where the bank agrees to take less for the home than what's owed on the mortgages. The other options would be foreclosure, which means you stop making your payments and kind of sit in the house and wait for the bank to decide to take it back and send it to auction.
Which generally happens when you've tried a loan modification and or for short sale, and they haven't worked for some reason. I don't see too many people that intend on going down the path of foreclosure. We've heard statistics that about 80% of the foreclosures that have occurred have happened where people have gotten no advice. And that was part of sure that people know that they have a resource that can take a look at all of the options and help them come up with not just an assessment for themselves of what the best course of action is, but also to then have a plan to execute on to maybe avoid that least favorable outcome, which is, generally speaking, the foreclosure.
And the last one would be deed in lieu of foreclosure, which is where you pretty much hand the keys back to the bank and you say, here you go, I can't afford the house anymore. I'm going to give you the keys, I'm going to move out, and you take the house back. Now that one's kind of interesting because more and more of the banks don't want to do a deed in lieu of foreclosure, so a lot of times when you approach them to do that, they actually try to push you down the path of doing a short sale, because generally they're getting more value out of the home through the short sale process than they are if they take a deed in lieu of foreclosure.